my channel and welcome to another Sabbat video. I figured for this Sabbat I will share with you all a ritual that you can do to celebrate Mabon. So before we get into the ritual that I'm going to share with you all for Mabon, let's talk about what Mabon is. Mabon is really the beginning of the dark time of the year. It's the beginning of fall. It's when, if you're Wiccan and you believe in God and Goddess, God starts to fade away and Goddess becomes more central. We're moving into a period of time when we're going to have less sunlight, less daytime, more nighttime. So God is dying away. He's returning to the crone's cauldron and he will be reborn again when spring comes. So Mabon is really exciting and fun. If you, like me, are the type of Wiccan who does a lot of their favorite spiritual work around Mabon, Samhain, the fall period of the year when the veil is thinner and it's more of a time of the darkness and less of the light. So this ritual to celebrate Mabon is a solitary ritual. I am a solitary Wiccan, so you can do this by yourself or you can find a way to incorporate others if you have a group or a coven that you want to do this ritual with. But this ritual for Mabon is from the book Sabbats by Eden McCoy. I love this book. This book is a great resource for every single Sabbat. There are great suggestions for how to celebrate. There are recipes. There are crafts you can make. It even has group rituals and coven rituals in it if that's something that interests you. So for this Mabon ritual, it is great if you can do this ritual in a cemetery. That's not always doable because either you don't live near a cemetery or maybe like me, you live in a city and every cemetery is always packed with people no matter what. So that's not always doable, but if you can do this ritual in a cemetery, and if you are going to do this ritual at a cemetery, do keep in mind that there are people's family and friends buried in that cemetery and you need to be respectful of the fact that there might be people mourning, there might be just other people's graves that you should not be disrespecting or bothering in any type of way. Spirits are resting there, loved ones are resting there, so be respectful if you're going to go into a cemetery and do this work. Also about the cemetery, if you can go to a cemetery where you yourself have loved ones buried, that's even better. Because part of this ritual will involve putting something on the gravestone or tomb of a loved one. So that's not necessary. It won't ruin the ritual or make the ritual less impactful, but it is a great option if you have the ability to go to a cemetery where you have a loved one, a family member, a friend buried, then that is great. Definitely try to do that if you can. And if you have a family member or a friend who was cremated instead of buried, you can either go to the site where their ashes were scattered, or if you have the urn with their ashes in it, you can just do this ritual with that urn present. And if you can't be at a loved one's gravestone or grave site or where they scattered their ashes, just visualize yourself being there during this ritual, and that will be strong enough. That loved one will feel that you're doing it for them and with them, and no matter what, no matter where you are, it'll still be just as impactful. For this ritual, you will need an apple and you'll need a chalice or a cup with either wine or juice. Doesn't matter if you do wine or juice, it's just a personal preference. Maybe you like to use wine in your practice, maybe you can't drink alcohol or just don't want to drink alcohol, so you can use juice instead. And this ritual is all about rebirth. It's about healing your mourning and moving through your mourning and helping those who have passed on to begin their next life cycle and be reborn. So that's the theme of this ritual, and that's why it can be really good to do this ritual in a cemetery. So when you're ready to begin your ritual and you've found where you're going to do it, whether that's at your altar, in your own backyard, at a cemetery, in front of a loved one's grave, no matter where you're going to do your ritual, once you're ready, you want to cast your circle if that is part of your practice. So cast your circle, open that sacred space, and invite any deities or entities that you work with that you want to be present for this ritual. So if you're Wiccan, maybe invite God and Goddess to be present. If you work with any deities of the underworld or the spirit realm, invite them to be present. So invite any deities that you want to invite for the ritual. I'm so sorry, my cats are playing so intensely. So once you've opened your circle, you're going to begin to say the ritual. when it comes to saying rituals or spells or prayers, I think that it's always better to memorize them beforehand so that you don't have to be looking at your book and looking back up, looking at your book, looking back up while the ritual's going on. It's not that big a deal if you do need to reference a piece of paper or a book to remember exactly what you need to say, but it's always better to not distract yourself by needing to read what you're saying. It can feel more pure and authentic to just know what you're supposed to say and say it versus having to on the spot read it. So if you can, try to put the effort in beforehand to memorize what you need to say, at least loosely. At least memorize what you need to say loosely so that you have the general gist of what you need to say. And if you need to glance down occasionally at your notebook or your book to just kind of remember what's exactly next, and if you've gotten each word right, then that's totally fine. But try to memorize it as much as possible. So what you're going to say to start the ritual once you've cast your circle and invited your deities is, "Blessed be this season of Mabon, time of the second harvest, the harvest of fruit and wine. Tonight all things are in balance. Goddess and God, life and death, light and dark. Tonight the darkness will conquer the light, leading us ever deeper into the waning year." So as you're saying this, you're going to want to hold your apple in your hands. Hold the apple at heart level out in front of you. So you're just going to hold the apple out in front of you at heart level. Then you're going to say, "Ancient symbol of life, death, and rebirth, take away my mourning. Help me to be assured that death is not a permanent parting, but a new and joyful beginning." And at this point, if you are in a cemetery with the gravesite or the place where the ashes were scattered of a loved one, you'll want to place the apple in front of them, in front of that gravesite. If you aren't at a cemetery or at the gravesite of a loved one, you can place the apple on the altar for the ritual and then save it for later after you've done the ritual to find a place in the earth to bury that apple. Burying the apple will symbolize a wish for rebirth and reincarnation. So whether you're placing the apple in front of a gravesite or placing the apple on your altar to be buried in the earth later, both are perfect and will work for this ritual just as well as the other. Then you'll take the chalice that you have brought with you and you'll hold it up and you'll say the following. "Blessed crone, thank you for bringing me safely to this season. God of wine, thank you for your gift of the grape." Now you're going to use this wine or juice as offering. So however you view giving offering, some people drink the wine or juice and see that as offering. Some people drink some and then pour some out on the ground. If you're inside at your altar, you can drink some and then place it on your altar, and that will be like you're giving it to the deities. And at this point, let yourself have a little fun with it. We're celebrating a holiday. Maybe there's a memory you want to share of a deceased loved one in the ritual space. Do whatever you feel called to do in that moment. Once you've made your offering and you're ready to finish the ritual, say the following. "Blessed be Mabon, season of bounty." Then spend some time in the circle, meditating, singing songs, dancing, telling stories, sharing memories of deceased loved ones. And when you're ready, close your circle, however it is that you close your circle, if you cast one at the beginning. And then finish the ritual by saying, "The circle is open but unbroken. Blessed be." And with that, your Mabon ritual is complete. I hope that this was helpful and that you enjoy this Mabon ritual. I hope you all have a blessed Mabon. Thank you to all my subscribers. I'm so thankful for your support. I've been really enjoying teaching you all and sharing my knowledge. If you have any video requests, leave those in the comments. I do take requests. I upload new videos every week, so subscribe so you don't miss any of my future content. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, give it a like. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.